Sure, here's a 3,000-word YouTube script about the MiG-21, 2025, for your channel name, with no headings, as requested. The MiG-21. A name that echoes through the corridors of aviation history like a thunderclap. It's fast, it's lethal, it's iconic, and now, in 2025, this Cold War legend is still in the skies, defying time, upgrades, and expectations. Welcome back to Name, where today we dive deep into the legacy, modernization, and enduring relevance of the MiG-21 in 2025, a story of evolution, adaptation, and sheer willpower in metal and engine form. Let's roll the tape back. First flown in 1956, and introduced officially into service in 1959, the MiG-21 became one of the most widely produced and widely exported fighter jets in history. Built by the Soviet Union's Mikoyan-Gurevich Design Bureau, the aircraft was designed with one purpose: intercept and destroy. In the nuclear-tensioned world of the Cold War, it was a sharp spear ready to pierce enemy skies. Over 11,000 units were produced across several decades, making it the most produced supersonic aircraft in aviation history. The MiG-21 earned countless nicknames around the world. In NATO, it was known as Fishbed. In India, it became known as the Thunderbolt. In Vietnam, it was a Phantom Killer. This aircraft wasn't just built for flying, it was built to fight. Small, fast, maneuverable, and cheap to produce, it embodied the Soviet doctrine of overwhelming force and simplicity. But here's the real twist. It's 2025, and the MiG-21 is still flying. Not in museums, not just at air shows. In real-world operations, over real borders, under real tensions. Why? Why is a jet designed in the 1950s still part of active inventories in some parts of the world today? The answer is both economic and strategic. Over the years, many nations, especially in Asia and Africa, couldn't afford to constantly update their air fleets to the latest fifth-generation fighters. Instead, they invested in upgrades: avionics, weapons systems, radar, engines. Some MiG-21s have gone through over half a dozen modernization packages, transforming their capabilities in ways the original designers could only dream of. Take India, for example. India has operated the MiG-21 for decades. And despite several high-profile crashes and safety concerns, some upgraded MiG-21 Bisons continued flying well into the 2020s. These upgraded versions featured modern radar systems, helmet-mounted sights, beyond visual range missiles, and improved ejection seats. Although India officially started retiring its MiG-21s, some units remained on high alert into 2025 due to regional tensions and the need to maintain a layered defense approach. In Africa, nations like Angola and Namibia still operate MiG-21s, many of which have been upgraded with Israeli or Chinese avionics packages. These jets are used for patrols, intercept missions, and even training purposes. And then there's the role of private contractors. In 2025, several MiG-21s have found a second life in the private sector. Companies in the US and Europe now use former military jets, including MiG-21s, for adversary training. These Red Air contractors simulate enemy fighters during exercises, providing NATO and allied pilots with more realistic dogfighting scenarios. It's ironic, the same jets that once flew for communist regimes now help train Western pilots. Modernization is the key to survival, and the MiG-21 has seen its fair share of it. Let's take a closer look at what an upgraded 2025 MiG-21 might have under the hood. First, avionics. The original MiG-21s featured analog gauges, primitive radar, and limited targeting systems. The 2025 version: full-glass cockpit, multi-function displays, satellite navigation, fly-by-wire systems in some variants, digital data links. These upgrades allow the aircraft to communicate with modern command and control systems, enabling networked warfare, something unthinkable in the original design. Second, weapons. Originally, the MiG-21 carried infrared-guided short-range missiles like the K-13, along with a 23mm cannon. Today's upgraded versions carry R-77 beyond visual range missiles, comparable to the American AIM-120 AMRAAM. They also carry laser-guided bombs, anti-ship missiles, and even electronic countermeasure pods for self-defense. Third, radar and targeting. The MiG-21 Bison and other upgraded models now use modern pulse Doppler radars capable of tracking multiple targets, locking on in cluttered environments, and resisting jamming. This dramatically increases their combat viability. Fourth, Survivability. The original MiG-21 was a rocket with wings, fast, yes, but not exactly pilot-friendly. Ejection seats were unreliable, and the aircraft had limited endurance. Today's versions come with better crash survivability, advanced ejection systems, improved fuel capacity, and in some cases, in-flight refueling capability. Yet, even with all these upgrades, the MiG-21 is not without limitations. No amount of electronics can change its aerodynamics. The design is still limited in terms of range, payload, and stealth. Against modern fifth-generation fighters like the F-35, J-20, or Su-57, a MiG-21 stands little chance in a one-on-one dogfight. But that's not how wars are fought anymore. Instead, the MiG-21 in 2025 is a force multiplier, used for point defense, quick reaction alert, ground attack in low-intensity conflicts, and as a training platform. It fills roles where deploying more expensive aircraft would be unnecessary or risky. Let's not forget about the pilot experience. Flying a MiG-21 in 2025 is like driving a classic car with a Tesla interior. The airframe is old school, but the systems inside are cutting edge. Pilots trained on these aircraft get a feel for raw flight mechanics, no computer-assisted automation or stealth padding. Every decision counts, every movement is amplified, and that makes MiG-21 pilots some of the most skilled aviators in their respective air forces. So how does the world see the MiG-21 today? In the West, it's often viewed with a mix of nostalgia and respect. American pilots who faced off against MiG-21s in Vietnam remember it as a worthy opponent. In Eastern Europe, where many nations transitioned from Warsaw Pact to NATO, the MiG-21 remains a symbol of that shift, some aircraft even repainted in new colors to mark that transition. In countries like Croatia and Romania, the MiG-21 soldiered on until they could replace it with Western fighters. In China, the legacy of the MiG-21 took on a different path. China produced its own version, the J-7, and continued to upgrade it independently. Even in 2025, the J-7 is still in limited service, mainly for homeland defense and training. The MiG-21 also had a surprising cultural legacy. It's been featured in countless documentaries, war films, video games, and even postage stamps. It became the AK-47 of the skies, simple, deadly, and ubiquitous. Now, let's talk about the controversy. Over the years, the MiG-21 has developed a troubling safety record, particularly in countries like India. Engine failures, poor maintenance standards, training accidents. The press often labeled it the flying coffin. But many of these issues weren't because of the aircraft itself, but due to how it was maintained, operated, and upgraded over the years. A MiG-21 that receives proper maintenance and pilot training can still perform reliably, but cut corners, and the consequences can be fatal. So what's the future of the MiG-21 after 2025? Realistically, the sun is setting on its operational life. Most air forces still flying it are preparing to retire it within the next 5 to 10 years. Replacements are already arriving, Tejas in India, JF-17 in some African nations, and F-16s are Gripens elsewhere. But that doesn't mean the MiG-21's story ends there. Many of these aircraft will become part of civilian fleets. Others will be preserved in museums. Some will be transformed into drone targets or used for movie productions. And some will remain with private military contractors, still fighting in simulated battles over Nevada or the Mediterranean. There's also the possibility of heritage squadrons, air forces maintaining a few MiG-21s for ceremonial flypasts, national celebrations, and heritage airshows. After all, the roar of a MiG-21 jet engine is unforgettable. It doesn't just fly, it howls through the sky like a ghost of the past. In a world dominated by stealth, artificial intelligence, and hypersonic weapons, the MiG-21 is a relic. But it's a relic that refuses to be forgotten. It fought in Vietnam, the Middle East, Africa, South Asia, and Eastern Europe. It was shot down, rebuilt, upgraded, and relaunched. It trained generations of pilots. And even today, it guards skies, scares intruders, and teaches lessons in the unforgiving language of air combat. To the MiG-21, a fighter that outlived empires, presidents, and technology cycles. A machine that started with analog dials and ended with digital displays. From a Cold War icon to a 2025 survivor, it remains a legend not because it was the best, but because it never stopped evolving. Thanks for watching. Name, If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the MiG-21 in 2025, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible stories about military tech, aviation history, and the machines that shaped our world. What should we cover next? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, fly high, stay sharp, and keep watching the skies. Let me know if you want a short version, clickbait title, description, hashtags, or keywords for this video too.